What is the dumbest thing someone has ever accused you of that just isn't true? A homeless guy in Santa Barbara accused me of stealing his birth certificate that proved he was Elvis Presley's son. Someone accused my son of raping their daughter. I don't have children. I went away to university. The first couple of times I came back to my hometown to visit friends and family. A then close friend who I'd been to his house many times during high school kept suggesting we meet up elsewhere. I don't really think anything of it. And we drifted apart as one so often does at that time in your life. Years later, his parents and my parents bump into each other at the mall. And I'm told secondhand that my friend's father has finally gotten over what I did to their vacuum cleaner, and that he understands that I'm a college kid without any money to offer to replace it. But the least I could do was own up to what I did and apologize. And I wasn't welcome in his house until I was prepared to do so. To this day I have no earthly idea what happened to that man's vacuum cleaner or how I somehow got blamed for it. But whatever it was, it must have been pretty bad, because that guy was chill as hell when I was a kid. And I just can't imagine him banning me from his house and stewing on the incident for years. I've brought this up to my friend once who I'm still in touch with on Facebook but haven't seen in person in something like a decade, and he claims to have no idea what I'm talking about. I found a friend of mine asleep on a dance floor at a festival. I wasn't there with him. He was with a group of other friends that I'd recently had some conflict with. He'd clearly been dosed, so I splapped him as awake as he could get, dragged him up a hill and put him asleep on his side in my tent. Then I took his phone, called them and had them meet me so I could tell them what was going on. They took no responsibility for letting a friend they were there with go unaccounted for. They had no tents or gear to stay the night with. And the main dude wouldn't agree to at least keep an eye on not letting something similar happen to the girls in the group. So I was like whatever and went back to my tent. Then that dude from the friend group did his best to convince everyone else, including the friend who got dosed, that I had set up the whole situation to date rape the friend I found on the dance floor. A girl I was friends with at the time in college was at a party at another school maybe 15 to 20 minutes away, and called me late, or very early I guess, upset saying she was gonna drive back, which I told her to definitely not do. I told her to get out of the car and find her friend who she was at the party with. I wake up the next morning to find out not only did she drive, but she eventually pulled over and called our other friends who went and got her basically on the side of the road. She then told all of them that I told her to just get in the car and drive home. Thankfully for all involved, no injuries, no DUI, no accident or anything like that. But my friends were pissed at me until I set the record straight. Also, even if I did, why or how would that absolve this girl for choosing to drive home drunk? TLDR, a former friend drove drunk from a party and blamed me to all our friends for her poor decision. My ex-roommate accusing me of stealing his iPhone charger. I don't even own an iPhone. After I sang a vocal solo for a wedding, the priest who had been the celebrant accused me of singing Penis Angelicus instead of Panis Angelicus. I told him, I think you're hearing what you want to hear, not what I actually sang correctly. I was accused of punching someone's girlfriend in the face. It was odd since I had not done it, but she swore I had, making it very hard for me to defend myself. To the best of my knowledge, I had not even interacted with her. When I was an E2 in the Navy, I spent my money on playing. Got a 150cc scooter instead of a car, surfboard, RC planes, built a nice gaming rig, dressed nice, etc. Somehow, someone, somewhere, thought I clearly had more money than I should. Then somehow came to the conclusion that I was running a car smuggling ring out of the base. They interrogated a bunch of my friends and everything. It was funny. My friends were like, you relentless extropian doesn't even own a car, right? It just went away without another word, but we all thought it was hilarious. I had a manager accuse me of being a valued member of the team. Bitch, I'm here for the money. Explain your work ethic to inspire the rest of the team internally. Money, yeah. Value the life skills and teamwork. When I was promoted to private first class, all you need to do is exist and not get any serious disciplinary action for a year and a half. My commander wanted me to give a speech. Thank you, sir. Don't fuck up for a year and a half and you can be a PFC. He was a bit confused, but what did he expect? When the library I worked at burned down, the town busybody said I did it because I was Italian American, so I must know the mob. Dude, I'm a librarian. It took months and an intense investigation before state police decided it was old electrical wiring in the furnace room. But she had all her followers going. In second grade, Sarah Mitchell accused me of having cooties, and she had zero evidence to support her claim. I do not have cooties. That's rough, buddy. My old roommate swears up and down that one night when we lived together I came into his room eating a stick of chalk. He claims that I said it settles my stomach. I don't remember ever doing this. I would later discover that this scenario is the plot of a scene from Always Sunny where Charlie does and says the same thing. He claims to have never seen Always Sunny. We still argue about it. Sounds like he must have caught that scene while he was in some sort of twilight sleep and his brain processed it as something that actually happened. Since you were his roommate, it made sense for his mind to place you in the memory. If you have never experienced this, it can feel completely legitimate. Obviously, there is no way to confirm or deny this, but it sounds plausible to my uneducated mind. Lol. When I was in second grade, someone in my class spread the rumor that I had shoved our teacher down the stairs and killed her. Everyone believed them, even though our teacher was only gone for a few days because she was sick. Everyone was convinced I killed her. Flash forward to when we were graduating and were remembering the good old days, and someone goes, "Remember when my name shoved Miss Teacher down the stairs and killed her?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, wait a minute, she's still alive. WTF. And they all apologized for thinking I straight up murdered someone. I once had a band teacher accuse me of plagiarizing my paper. Don't ask me why. We were writing an essay for band class. He pulled me into his office and said it was way too well written to be done by me. So I sat there and forced him to Google each line of my essay in front of me and prove that it was stolen. Needless to say, I got an A on that paper. I had the same thing happen to me in my first year of university. As an elective, I took a class in political philosophy. And for my first ever university essay, I compared and contrasted Plato's The Republic and Machiavelli's The Prince with reference to the city-state of Sparta. The thing was, I'd read about Sparta back in high school, and I didn't actually read anything new about it for the essay. I just cited the Republic and the Prince in my footnotes, and all the Sparta stuff was just from my best recollection. I figured if I had already learned it somewhere else, that knowledge was mine, right? The professor was convinced I'd plagiarized the essay until I sat down with her and talked Greek and Roman history for 10 minutes. When she was satisfied I knew more about it than someone who would plagiarize an essay would know, she told me to go to the library and find books that illustrated my points and come back with a footnote for every paragraph in my essay. She then gave me 100% of the assignment, which I thought was pretty reasonable of her. I wish I still had a copy of that essay. This was back in 2001, and it died on a laptop hard drive at some point before I thought to start backing up my work. Recently, my ex thought I might have been stalking her and her new partner via Google Home. I immediately cut all ties with her after that. I got accused of taking steroids a while back. A coworker said after a discussion about working out, "I know it's easy for you because of all the steroids you're on. There's no way for a normal person to be as big as you." I said to her, "That is the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me, but I assure you, I'm all natural. The only steroid I've ever been on was a rash treatment for my eczema, but I made a change in my diet to fix that." She said, "Nope, you're on everything. Stop lying." I said, "Ah, you're so sweet. Thank you." That really did make my day. She kind of just stormed off. She has this habit of once she thinks something is so, nothing could ever change her mind. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's something else, but she wasn't a bad person. Just someone who needs more convincing than others. Hell of an ego boost though. Nice. Slashing my roommate's tires. My roommate overheard me talking to our other roommate about her shitty park job. Lol, truly harmless. Just said, "Oh yeah, I couldn't fit in the driveway because / redacted / parked all crooked." A couple days later, someone had slashed her tires in the night and she was convinced it was me getting back at her for the bad park job. She began harassing me / screaming at me every time I was home, pounding on my bedroom door, demanding that I give her $500 for her tires, cornering me at every chance she got. Eventually, she said that she had video evidence that I did it. We didn't have cameras. She claimed that she bought the footage from the restaurant across the road from us, as she held a long CVS receipt as proof that she had bought it / I had a friend working at the restaurant as a manager who said she was lying about purchasing the footage from them. Lol, obviously, I ended up moving out with 6 months left on my lease. And every time I'd bring someone over to potentially take over my lease and tour the place, she'd blast her music and scream randomly so that they wouldn't want to move in. Ended up having to work 3 jobs to afford to pay for double rent for those 6 months. That bitch is not right in the head. I would have gotten the police involved. Being pregnant. I think after years of accusations, I would have given birth by now. Well, but you are pregnant. No. Lol. You have a drinking problem. I had 3 drinks in 2 months, 2 with her, because she insisted. Here's the thing, my reason for not drinking alcohol isn't because I have, or ever had, a problem with my drinking. I just think it all tastes like crap. I once found out that one of my friends had talked to another one, because she thought I might need an intervention. The other friend had just laughed and been baffled. I hadn't drunk much in years, and rarely to excess. After I thought about it, I realized the first friend kind of had a point. When I was with her, I tended to want some booze. She had some emotional issues that she wouldn't admit to, or get help for. That had gradually made her a too tightly wound pain in the ass. Her company was unpleasant without the buffer of a booze haze. I ended up cutting off that friendship a few months later. Ironically, after she got super drunk and made a huge scene in public. The other friend also put some distance between them. After having been sensitized to friend one's PETA level, I still like booze, but haven't been truly drunk since that incident. It gave me an aversion to not being fully in control of myself. Smoking pot in school parking lot for 2 weeks. I had pneumonia for a couple weeks in high school. I come into my mechanics class and the teacher is like, "Where were you?" "Out sick." "Yeah, right, you were smoking dope in the parking lot." "I had pneumonia." "I saw you." "I've never smoked weed in my life." He left it there. 3/4 of the class were burnout potheads and often skipped to smoke weed in the parking lot, but I wasn't in their group. But he lumped me in with them. He also taught nearly nothing. We worked on a car once, and I was sick during that class. We mainly watched safety videos. Or one time a Steven Seagal movie started partway in, he said, because it had a car chase. So it was relevant to the class. Actually, not the only teacher who pulled that excuse to not teach that I had. When we asked what the movie was called, he just kept calling it Leia Beating. We kept saying we knew that wasn't what it was called, but he kept calling it Leia Beating. I was accused of being in a violent gang. I'm a nerdy white boy that lives in a small town in Texas. And so were the few friends I had. Being a pedophile, because I wasn't mean to a kid. Being gay, because my friend and I went to see the Natalie Portman ballerina movie. You know, the one. Being a stoner, because I had a black coworker. Being a freeloader for not getting overtime that week. Hating my family because I worked overtime. My mom was a cunt. Some people should not have kids. Sorry you went through that shit. Frown. Mansplaining. I was working at an art gallery and we had a female lead technician. We had to install this heavy stone piece on a wall. I had experience installing these works because of a previous employer. There were a lot of safety precautions involved because if I remember correctly, the piece weighed almost 400 pounds and was to be hung on a temporary wall with little structural integrity. I was polite and professional and explained why her plan was not the correct way to safely install the work. We would need to add additional wood support inside or behind the wall. She was annoyed and rolled her eyes and accused me of mansplaining. I was like, "Oh, okay," and broke off from the team and installed some other works. They did it her way and sometime during the night. Luckily nobody was hurt. The piece ripped out of the wall and fell and was damaged beyond repair. I never went back to that place after that. She was demoted to a less hands-on desk job. Yeah, I find it humorous that I, as a man, have to explain mansplaining isn't correcting you when you are wrong, and then explaining what mansplaining really is. I learned the word cunt from my mom in 6th grade because a girl on my bus accused me and my friend of calling her that. No idea why this happened either. We never talked to her or even looked at her, but she apparently complained, and my mom, and my buddy's mom, sat us down after school and asked us. We both asked each other the next day what that word meant, and neither of us knew, so we asked a kid older than us. I called my mom out on it years later, and for a while she claimed to not remember but then admitted she did and had no reason to believe me. Now I wish we did call her one cause she was a cunt. What a random and stupid thing to lie about. I got these kind of accusations plenty of times and it hurts like hell every single time. I got accused of stealing a single pork chop from the freezer at work. Oh man. About 5 years ago I had a woman come up to my work and threaten to kick my ass. This woman I had never laid eyes out of my entire life had apparently been messaging me on Facebook to my others/spam folder, and it's very upset about the baby her husband and I had just had together. My youngest son was 18 at this point. How much you want to hear, but it was insane. I had a good boss who knew me and knew I didn't have a random secret baby only months before, so the crazy got banned from our store. I forgot about this until now. People are insane. My stepmonster accused me of being a 16-year-old whore because I was wearing an Alice in Wonderland shirt that had the Drink Me bottle on it. Apparently that was just too close to eat me for her. So obviously I was advertising my illegal business. Don't let her know about the little cake that actually does say eat me.